What's up, everybody? Welcome to the next video in our Quick Start course. In this video, we are going to be talking about product research, how you can find the best phrase for your message cards and for your ShineOn products. Now, look, this step is super important. Most people overlook it, but I think product research is by far the most important part in this entire process. You should be spending 80% of your time on product research and 20% of your effort on ads and running traffic. Everybody gets this totally upside down. They want to spend all their time on the ads and the traffic and the new Facebook advertising methods, and they don't spend very much time on product research. But I can tell you, a successful campaign cannot be built on a bad product. The foundation of every successful campaign is an amazing product. Now, little bit of definitions here. When I say product, right, what I'm saying is the phrase plus the design for whatever it is that you're making. If we're using message card jewelry in this example, when I refer to product, it's the whole package here. It's the phrase, it's the design, it's the actual necklace itself. However, if I have to weight the importance of each of those, the phrase itself is by far the most important part of your product. We have a little saying around here that says, it's the phrase that pays. It's the phrase that pays. Another good saying we have is, if they cry, they'll buy. And it all refers back to the power of the phrase on your products. So the phrase is everything. Your product is everything. And no successful campaign can be built on a bad product. The foundation of every successful campaign is an amazing product. All right. Now, where do we find phrases that pay? Well, there are a bunch of different places you can go, and it's certainly not limited to what you see on the screen here. But you can go to Pinterest. I've found winning phrases on Pinterest before. Google Shopping actually will be full of really good phrases that people are actively buying. Hallmark has really good cards. I mean, they've done tons of research, and you can find phrases and phrase snippets and get ideas and inspiration from a place like Hallmark. Amazon has some really good phrases. Google Trends will show you what's trending. And if there are certain phrases that are trending, kind of like unbiological sister, that's a very unique term, but it refers back to a very specific phrase. And you can go to Google Trends to see if it's currently trending, if there's currently demand for that phrase. Etsy is a fantastic place to go for really unique phrases. You can see in real time what's selling well. Google Images is another fantastic place to go to see what phrases might be doing well. eBay, Facebook's one of my favorite. Go onto Facebook, search pages that are related to your niche or your audience, add those, like those pages, and then go look at the ads those pages are running. You can find some really good phrases that way too. You can also scroll through all their content and see which content has the most comments, likes, and shares. That'll tell you which phrases are selling really well. And usually that content is just memes and phrases and things like that. AdSpy is a really good one. AdSpy is a paid product research tool. You can go in there and see which phrases are doing well. And then finally, you can go to Google and you can search .my Shopify store. So on Google, if you type site:/myshopify.com and then a search phrase, it'll search all the Shopify stores and show you any product that matches those search phrases. So all of these are fantastic ways to find phrases that pay. Let's go a little deeper into a few of these just so I can really show you what I'm talking about. So very quickly, there are two important characteristics of a winning phrase that you need to know about to be successful here. First, winning phrases almost always follow the greeting card format, So they'll say to so-and-so, and then they'll have the phrase, and they'll say from so-and-so. So you can see some examples here. I have to my future wife, and then at the bottom, this one doesn't say from, it says I love you. It still has kind of this salutation though at the end of it. The phrase isn't left hanging right here. This one here says to my daughter, and then it says love your dad. So it's from your dad, right? Most of the winning phrases we've ever seen follow this format. They don't always have to follow it to a T, but they have to get close. And it doesn't always have to be so literal. It doesn't have to say to my future wife. It can say to my soulmate, right? For example, it can say to my baby cakes. It can say to my mama. It can be nicknames and things like that. I've seen all kinds of things here that have been very unique, very creative. To my queen is another one that I've seen. So you can put whatever you want up here. Same with down here in the salutations. I've seen it say from your grumpy veteran, from your grumpy husband, things like that, from sour pants. You can get really creative and funny in the to and in the salutations. And if you don't end with a from so-and-so, it's okay. You can end with something like this. I'll love you forever, forever and always, yours forever, something like that. But it still needs the outro. It still needs the salutation. And then obviously the phrase. The phrase is the most important part. Regardless of what you do with the to and the from, you've got to nail the phrase. The phrase is what's going to sell your product. And then finally, when it comes to the phrase itself, you need it to move people emotionally. This is critical. They need to laugh. They need to cry. They need to grieve. They need to remember a lost loved one, something like that. It's got to move people emotionally. It doesn't matter what emotion. It can even be anger. But they have to be moved emotionally or they're not going to be as likely to buy. So that's the key here. You need to find a phrase that's going to move people emotionally. This is why in previous video, I said, try to pick a niche you already know, because when you're doing your product research, you'll know if the phrase is going to move others because it'll likely move you, right? That's the barometer you can use. That's the litmus test you can use on whether or not a phrase is powerful. But at any rate, the phrase has to move people emotionally. This is key. All right. Now, let's go over a few kind of examples of where you can get some of these phrases. We're going to go through these quick. We're not going to be able to go super in depth into all of these, but I want to show you kind of how you can find some decent phrase ideas. So here's an example of how you could use Pinterest. You can go to Pinterest. You can type in a search term like to my daughter, to my wife, to my grandma, to my grandson, something like that. And then you can type like phrases, quotes, funny memes, you can add a bunch of modifiers there, or you can type, gift for daughter, gift for wife, gift for girlfriend, things like that. And try combinations of these. You're wanting to expose yourself to as many ideas as possible so you can get some really good inspiration. Now, the question is, how do you know if the phrase is a winner? Well, first of all, remember, you're the litmus test. Read the phrase, see if it moves you emotionally. If you're in a niche that you know, that should be pretty easy to do. If not, what you want to kind of do is see if the phrase is repeating itself often, because that's usually a pretty good tip-off that it's moving other people emotionally or it's getting shared a lot, things like that. So you can see here, I just typed to my daughter into Pinterest and I came up with these results. And you can see these three phrases right here repeat. To my daughter, never forget that I love you. Life is filled with hard times and good times and so on and so forth. And it's kind of this sentimental quote. It's been repeated 3 times. Now, let's talk about Etsy real quick. So Etsy, you can use very similar method. You can go to Etsy. It's a search engine again. Type to my wife up here in the top. Again, you can do to my daughter, gift for best friend, all kinds of things in there. And it's going to return a bunch of results. And what's on the first page of Etsy are usually products people are actively buying that match these search terms. So they're usually top selling products already. But how do you know? How do you know for sure? Well, there's some easy ways to do it. First of all, if they're spending money on the product, so up at the very top of Etsy, you're going to have the first row is almost always ads. If people are actively spending money on those, there's a decent chance that they're selling well. You're still going to want to do some other steps to kind of qualify that, but there's a decent chance those products are selling well. But another way you can do is look for this bestseller tag right here. You look for this bestseller tag. That'll tell you if the product is selling well or sold well in the past. And then once you click into the product, you'll be able to scroll down and see the reviews. Look and see if the reviews are recent. If the reviews are recent, that usually tells you that product is still popping off and is still relevant. And then in addition, you kind of want to see if the phrase is repeated multiple times. If you see the phrase kind of over and over again, that will usually tell you that the product, it's a winning phrase. It's a phrase that's resonating and a lot of people are trying to jump on it. Now, I don't recommend copying products. I don't recommend copying phrases. In fact, I recommend against that. You should never do that. You're looking for inspiration here. That's the key. All right, Google Images. Again, very same method. You can kind of come in here, type Mother's Day phrases, for example. You can try a bunch of different variations on your search terms. How do you know if it's a winner? Well, the phrase is typically repeated multiple times. So this is kind of one method, and you can go to every search engine and basically try it. You can type in your different phrase, see what's kind of repeating. This is supposed to give you inspiration for creating a unique and winning phrase. And don't forget Facebook too. There's a bunch of places you can go. You got to be creative. Look on YouTube for videos. I've got a ton of additional training videos on YouTube that you can look at that will show you how to do a lot of this stuff in more depth and more detail. Now, go through each of these, right? So go through all these different places. Again, you should be spending 80% of your time on phrase research, so don't skip this. And then make a list of popular phrases. So I've got a screenshot here of our Trello board. We've got a Trello board where we keep a huge list of all these phrases that we see that are popping up and that are winners, right? And we grab them from places like Pinterest, Google, Etsy, things like that. We just have this massive list. And you can see the list is massive. I mean, here's the scroll bar here. And I don't know, we probably got 50 phrases over here and another I don't know, 40 phrases over here. I mean, we got a ton of phrases out there. And I actually had to crop the screenshot because we've got more than this. Now, once you have your list of phrases, right? So this is your inspiration bucket, so to speak. I like to do what I call Franken phrases here. So what I do here is I start to take bits and pieces of popular phrases, the ones I see kind of repeating. I start to blend them together. I start to stack them on top of each other. And I try to make my own unique phrases. I call this Franken phrases. It just helps me remember this, right? So here's kind of an example over here in the screenshot. Let me make my screen a little bigger here so you can see this. So it says right here, whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember whose daughter you are and straighten your crown. Be brave, have courage, and love life. I'm always with you. You'll always be my baby girl. So you can see this is a phrase I saw repeated in a lot of places, right? So I've kind of highlighted that. Then over here, when it's too hard to look back, you're too afraid to look ahead, look right beside you, I'll always be there. Just remember that I love you more than you will ever know. After all, you were the very first person to know what my heart sounded like from the inside. Okay, we're going to grab that part of the phrase too. And then I love you for the girl you were, the special woman you are, and the wonderful daughter you will always be. Okay, that's good too. So we're going to stack those on top of each other in this example here. So the whole phrase now is going to read, whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember whose daughter you are and straighten your crown. I love you for the girl you were, the special woman you are today, and the wonderful daughter you will always be. After all, you're the very first person to know what my heart sounded like on the inside. Boom, you've got a golden phrase there. And this is a unique phrase people have never seen before. It's completely original. Nobody stacked the words in these kinds of ways. And this is what you need to do. You need to be able to make some of your own unique phrases. So go around, go to all these different places, do your product research, make your phrase list, and then sit there and draw inspiration from the ones that are winning, stack them up, and then start sending these kind of original, unique, emotionally moving, sentimental phrases out into the universe and see what the ad platforms return to you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.